right, it looks like just about everyone is in. Again, welcome to GlideFast on Air. I'm Kali Alexander from GlideFast Consulting. I'll be moderating today's webinar, Onboarding Transformation Journey with ServiceNow HRSD. Before we get into the webinar, I would love to share some information about GlideFast. So GlideFast is a consulting firm that is dedicated exclusively to ServiceNow. As an Elite ServiceNow partner, our expert team of developers and architects have worked on both sides of the table, the customer side and the consulting side. Our company was founded by ServiceNow architects, and we're proud to have a team of over 500 experienced consultants, an average CSAT score of 4.8 out of 5, America's Elite Partner of the Year for 2 years running, and more accolades that you can see here on your screen. We'll be monitoring the Q&A throughout today's session, so please send over any questions you may have, and we'll do our best to answer them. All right, so let's talk about why we are here. Employee onboarding is the most important moment that matters for both the employee and the organization. And today we're in for a real treat with our featured guest, Lynn Ballerini, as she peels back the layers on how to build an exceptional onboarding experience for new employees. Lynn comes to us as an HR leader with proven results developing and monitoring high-performing teams and designing and implementing HR strategy, technology, and programs. In fact, it's her design that is the foundation of ServiceNow onboarding solution as we know it today. Currently, Lynn serves as Senior Director of HR Digital Transformation at GlideFast Consulting. With that said, I couldn't think of anyone better to facilitate today's conversation how ServiceNow, powered by GlideFast, is leading the way to optimizing onboarding practices and unlocking your workforce's full potential with ServiceNow HR Service Delivery. So without further ado, I'd like to hand the webinar over to our featured guest and expert, Lynn Ballerini.
Thank you so much, Kali. It's a pleasure to be here today. You know, the term onboarding is nothing new, and the concept of onboarding employees has been around in HR since the 70s. So while I was preparing for this session, I looked at what's out there today, and I was really surprised to see how much material is available about onboarding. It all tells a very familiar story. In fact, in a study by Gallup in 2019, they explored the impact of an exceptional onboarding experience and the relationship between exceptional onboarding and job satisfaction. At that time, Gallup found that only 12% of employees felt their company did a great job with onboarding, even though those that did have a great onboarding experience were almost 3 times more likely to say that they have a best possible job. So why is it so important for your organization to have an exceptional onboarding program? During this webinar, we'll explore the onboarding value proposition and how GlideFast can help you to maximize it. So in the study that I was mentioning, Gallup found that the difference between a program that employees strongly agree was exceptional, a 5 on a 5-point scale, versus just agree, a 4 on the scale, is the difference between an effective program and a waste of time. Note that when employees simply agree their onboarding program was effective, only 30% of the new hires felt they were prepared and supported to excel in their new role. So that's a really astounding statistic. And let's take a look at these numbers. Gallup found that when employees strongly agree that they have a good understanding of how we do things at the organization, they're almost 5 times more likely to strongly agree that their onboarding process was exceptional. And these stats run the board. Employee morale has been proven to be directly linked to the onboarding experience. These tenets still ring true, and the value of exceptional onboarding is widely understood. Recently, the Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, reported that 69% of employees are more likely to stay with a company for 3 years if they experienced, for at least 3 years, if they experienced a great onboarding, and organizations with a standard onboarding process experienced 50% greater new hire productivity. Research conducted by Glassdoor found that 91% of employees who went through effective onboarding felt strong connectedness at work. Even though this association is well proven, onboarding is still a challenge at companies today. Some typical challenges that we see are the result of an inefficient, time-consuming process that does not deliver a personalized experience. Hiring managers are frustrated with manual requirements and need to work with multiple teams across departments. Because much of the work is manual, significant follow-up is required, and things simply slip through the cracks. That results in last-minute fire drills, or even worse, a situation where a new hire shows up when they're not expected. There is no pre-boarding experience, even though this is known to be a time where new hires are the most engaged and excited about starting their new position. There's very little thought about what to do after day one, and what is the differentiator there? With this kind of onboarding process, are we really setting the person up for success? I love this slide because in the picture that you see here of today's experience, it's true that most new hires are dealing with an overload of information coming at them from all directions. This can be confusing, frustrating, and time-consuming. And to make matters worse, employee expectations today are high. They are used to a consumer-grade experience where they can get what they need, where they are, when and how they need it. So with ServiceNow, we meet and exceed employee expectations. We provide frictionless, consumer-grade experiences for the new hire, starting the moment they accept their offer. Company-wide tasks, what we call enterprise-wide, are delivered seamlessly, and there's a full visibility of activities and dependencies to all stakeholders. Managers are empowered to provide customized selections for their employees, but all standard processing requirements are pre-populated for them. The system is intelligent, and it makes the employee feel welcomed, even by the very simple process of using their preferred name. It's this kind of thoughtfulness that makes a person feel instantly welcomed, and the entire process helps them to be more productive and confident throughout their journey at the company. Onboarding has always been important, but why is effective onboarding even more critical now? Just last month, the conference board released its C-Suite Outlook survey of more than 1,200 executives. The results indicated that attracting and retaining talent is the CEO's #1 top priority for 2024. Among human capital challenges, CEOs say they're focused on developing leadership and workforce capabilities, strengthening organizational culture with the goal of attracting and retaining talent, and with labor shortages subsiding, but still serious, just 4% of CEOs are making return to office a top priority in 2024. Really interesting stats there. So now we have another poll question. How important is effective onboarding to your company? Very important, important, somewhat important, or not important? An effective onboarding process, as we've been discussing, is proven to develop workforce capabilities, strengthen organizational culture, and retain talent. It's also a competitive differentiator in a tight labor market, and the ServiceNow platform delivers a personalized, frictionless, welcoming experience, even and especially with remote hires. So 79% of you said that very important, an effective onboarding program is very important. 16% said important, 5% said somewhat important, and nobody said not important. So I think everybody is realizing the value and importance of an optimized and effective onboarding program. So let's talk a little bit about what makes an onboarding program effective. And to do this, I thought we'd start first by describing what onboarding is not. It is not about compliance. It's not about benefits enrollment, and it's not about getting computer equipment. While these activities certainly should be included in all onboarding programs, the key to a successful onboarding program is understanding the new hire's perspective. Onboarding is not a program or a process. It's an experience. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It needs to be catered to the individual and the role. And when it's done well, it defines the value proposition and sets the stage for the employment journey. I couldn't resist, I have to say it. You only have one chance to make a good first impression. The old adage still rings true. Tailoring your onboarding journey to meet the needs of the newcomers is critical. So we have another poll here. Which statement best describes your current onboarding program? Is it standardized web-based virtual onboarding? Is it a manual process led by the recruiting team with HR support, on-site live program or hybrid, on-site virtual, or fully automated, personalized to the new hire? Yes, as we were talking about retention stats, our objective when we have an effective onboarding program is to keep the employees. We want them to stay with us longer. We want them to feel more fulfilled and more engaged. And truly, it's not what my employees do for me, but what I can do for my employees that matters here. So let's see, do we have those results? Wow, so 28% of you have a standardized web-based or virtual onboarding. 28% have a manual process led by recruiting team with HR support. 39% have on-site live or hybrid program, and only 6% have a fully automated solution personalized to the new hire. So that looks like we have a lot of opportunity here to really leverage the technology that's available today. So let's look at what ServiceNow onboarding can do for us. What if the onboarding program could be individualized to the newcomer's needs and create a journey or experience that supports them with what they need, when and where they need it? And what if it could be automated without losing the personal touch that new employees need and expect? And how about if it could enable cross-departmental coordination and visibility for all stakeholders in real time? ServiceNow can do all this while leveraging analytics to identify areas for process improvement, giving managers the ability to create a consistent yet customized journey for their new employees, making employees feel instantly welcomed, productive, and confident throughout their experience. Remember, employee engagement equals economic value. In this slide, you can see a quick snapshot of a new hire's onboarding journey, starting with pre-boarding. The system quickly and easily snaps together onboarding experiences and other complex processes and maintains newcomer engagement throughout. It also provides end-to-end visibility. It allows HR and the hiring manager to take action during moments that matter with step-by-step guidance and easy-to-use dashboards. I often say that nothing has transformed the HR experience more than ServiceNow has. And this is particularly true when it comes to onboarding. Onboarding in the pre-boarding phase can be a teaser for all of the benefits they're going to get as an employee. It is also a continuous roadmap of the employee journey, and it can include not just the employee's immediate needs, but a 30, 60, 90-day, and even a year-long process. This is all configurable in the tool. Let's take a look at how ServiceNow has transformed the onboarding journey. I love the concept of personas. For me, as an HR operations leader, the idea of an onboarding persona was new. And once I understood the process from the perspective of each stakeholder as a persona, I began to have a better idea of how to map a best practice journey for new hires and those that support them. ServiceNow's transformative approach looks at the onboarding journey this way, but it keeps the new hire front and center. While each stakeholder may own a piece of some of the tasks, it does take coordination between each part to create this frictionless experience for everyone, and different roles may require a different onboarding journey. So in this persona slide, you can see the new hire, the hiring manager, an employee, and the HR administrator. While each of these have different responsibilities across the enterprise, they're all organized, mapped, and tracked in an easy and transparent way in the tool to help guide the journey, keeping it smooth and seamless. Think about the different personas within your organization. Executives who require focused integration, immersion into the organization, and stakeholder support to understand the organizational culture. Managers who need to understand how to support and administer company policies, the workforce and their needs, and the company's current events and culture. Remote workers who may feel distant and disconnected at times. Persons with disabilities who may need special accommodations. Contractors who are not full-time employees and can't be treated as such, but still need to feel engaged with a sense of purpose and value in the work that they do. seasonal or gig workers with frequent on and off-boarding experiences or occurrences. What are some of the other personas you may have? And what are the different needs across each of these personas? How can onboarding be flexible enough to accommodate them all? With ServiceNow, the new hire journey can be designed for the role, location, department, and other selected criteria to drive the process map and deliver information accordingly. This is all configurable in the system. So for example, a new hire in Portland will receive information about their local office, their team, maybe their commute or parking information, while the new hire in New York will receive different information. And it's all automated. So HR doesn't have to worry about what information to send to whom. It's truly amazing. Here is a view of an onboarding portal that a manager would use to set up a new hire. The manager simply clicks to open a request and completes the required information. The system guides them throughout the process from start to finish. Here, the manager, by clicking this button right here, can craft a short personal welcome note, and the system will send it. The manager can see which tasks are complete and which are overdue, both for the manager and the new hire. They can even add a mentor on this screen, as you can see right here. This will kick off a workflow, inviting the mentor to support the new hire and advising the manager once the invitation is accepted, so the manager can then allow the system to send an invitation to the new hire. It is all through an automated workflow that's controlled through system notifications and approvals. Again, a very much configurable functionality that can be designed to your preference. Here in my tasks for the hiring manager, they can see checklist items and act accordingly. This is how the process supports every hiring manager, enabling a thoughtful and consistent process for all new hires across multiple departments. So here, the manager can assign a new hire buddy, or schedule a welcome lunch, or select which cloud accounts the new hire can access. And once chosen, that information will automatically flow to the IT team responsible for systems access. So that's why it's truly an enterprise experience. On the new hire side, here we are looking at Nick Newman's pre-hire tasks. And you can see Nick has been a little bit of a bad boy. He's 27 days overdue on some of his tasks. Nick can view a My Task page that shows any outstanding items for their action. And we can also configure the tool to send reminders at certain intervals, depending on your preference. This can all be personalized with your company's branding, and it's a simple and easy way to ensure the new hire is as ready as can be for day one. And of course, these actions are also visible to the hiring manager in the journey overview. Here you can see that ServiceNow Onboarding is a game changer. This modern user-friendly experience adds value, both in terms of reducing the manual burden on the hiring teams and the stakeholders, as well as improving the new hire experience, their speed to effectiveness in their new role, and not to mention job satisfaction and retention, as we discussed earlier. But how does this translate into a real-life example? Here is a GlideFast case study of a global medical device company. They had a non-standard onboarding process that was managed locally in each country. This impacted their capacity, their ability to know where the new hire was in the process, and the new hire experience in general. The manual steps were both tedious and boring for the new hire managers. For the new hires, it was extremely inefficient. Our goal was to standardize the onboarding process as much as possible for all 4 Latin America regions with ServiceNow. GlideFast implemented a standard onboarding lifecycle process using ServiceNow HR Service Delivery and configured 10 activity sets with over 50 basic activities, or what we call HR templates, across pre-hire, pre-onboarding, and day 1 through 90. GlideFast harmonized a consistent process across the LATAM countries and centralized a one-stop shop approach to guide all stakeholders through the process and reduce handoffs and manual work. We did this in an approach that also enabled the system to be ready for cloning to other client regions of the world. GlideFast was able to reduce time to start by automating this onboarding process, increasing the autonomy and productivity of new hires and their managers, and our client was very satisfied with the results. They do plan to implement the same onboarding solution globally. So exciting. Now that you've seen the art of the possible, I have another survey question for you. How many people believe your existing program needs improvement? I would say based on the results we saw in the earlier poll, there is still a lot of manual work that is being done out there, and even hybrid models have quite a bit of room for improvement. Of course, the GlideFast ServiceNow onboarding tools can also be joined with a local office event. So we can have a lot of the pre-boarding work done through the onboarding system. Then when they arrive at the office, you can have a hybrid approach with a local live event, and then they can complete their new hire paperwork on their laptop in the office or when they get back home later in that day. So there's a lot of different approaches, but leveraging the technology that's available in ServiceNow onboarding is definitely key to enabling that technology enhancement. So 94%, wow, that's a high percentage. 94% of the attendees on this webinar believe that their existing program needs improvement. Well, that's exciting because GlideFast is offering an onboarding health analysis and an onboarding deep dive with remediation. So what is that? In the onboarding health analysis, we will review your current onboarding process and conduct a gap analysis and a data analysis to provide insights that can help enable automation and case resolution. We'll conduct interview sessions with onboarding stakeholders and process owners to identify opportunities for improvement and process optimization. We will design an onboarding solution architecture, roadmap, and help build your business case. This includes an onboarding governance approach with reporting, key performance indicators, service level agreements, and long-term sustainability recommendations. You can also opt for an onboarding deep dive with remediation. And following the health analysis, we can transition into a remediation phase where we would address mutually agreed upon issues and challenges that were identified during the analysis so that you could springboard into your new onboarding experience. The deep dive includes the health analysis plus optimization activities, implementation of data model refinements, and tailoring of identified sources of data population, configuration of onboarding system and dashboards, and migration of existing data to align onboarding best practices. So for information about how to request either of these options or to sign up for a free discovery session, you will see in the email that will be sent to you after this event. So after today's event, you'll get an email that will give you the option to request more information. Every client has different needs. This system is very configurable, and I'm really excited about the new technology that we have available today.
Thank you, Lynn, for that great presentation. That was awesome. We started getting lots of questions coming in before you even completed your presentation. So that's a great sign that your information is resonating with folks. So attendees, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them into the Q&A. We have Lynn here. Again, she has over 25 years of HR experience, and this is a great time to get your questions answered. And since we have some already, I'd like to go ahead and toss you a few questions, Lynn, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, so first, what kind of license do you need from ServiceNow? This question came up a couple times, both from an anonymous attendee as well as from Jay.
So as I mentioned, this tool it reaches across the entire organization. We call that the enterprise. So you do need to have the ServiceNow enterprise licensing for the onboarding product.
How long does it take to implement ServiceNow onboarding?
So every client is different in terms of their maturity towards onboarding. Like how well documented are their processes? Do they have some standardization today? Do they have a centralized HR, or is it distributed in their organization? But as a general guideline, the onboarding implementation takes a few months to implement with specific timelines derived from various complexities within your existing onboarding process. So these typically will determine the actual duration of the implementation, and it does vary from company to company.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much for that. Finally, we'll take this last question. How does onboarding work with our other employee tools?
Well, there is a proliferation of HR technology out there. We all know that. And generally, your HRIS is the system of record, or what I call the destination. But onboarding is the journey, and that's the employee experience as they're coming on board and joining the company.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for your attendance. Lynn, thank you so much for that great presentation. All of you will get a copy of this recording sent to your inbox. If you have questions that were not answered during our Q&A just now, feel free to reach out to us at info@glidefast.com, or you can reach out to me at collie.alexander@glidefast.com. And to see more sessions like today's, just visit our website, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.